At the end of his shock and awe Comic-Con presentation, Kevin Feige practically whispered his biggest bomb of all. In fact, Twitter in large part missed it. It was such a last-minute add-on. But thankfully, it was confirmed by the trades. I didn't even realize the scope of what he'd said until I saw the article in Deadline. And that's other movies on the horizon beyond Phase 4. Remember, Phase 4 is only 2 years long, so we're going to start moving through these phases much more rapidly. And also, I'll be curious to see, speaking of Phase 4 and phases, will Phase 4 have like a storyline that's overarching over the entire 2 years? I don't really know if they've ever done that, to be honest with you. I don't really know how they can delineate the phases. It's more kind of like for workflow from like a business perspective almost, I guess. But who cares? It's working for him. So anyway, Mahershala Ali as Blade was the panel mic drop. Nobody missed that. Similar to Brie Larson being announced as Captain Marvel a few years ago. And Deadline is confirming this will be a movie, not a streaming show, but we have no other details. Like, for instance, will it be rated R, right? It could go in the Deadpool vertical, right? I could even see a crossover between those characters. Like, I could really see a crossover between those characters. Marvel could create a Marvel Knights sub-brand. I mean, after all, they now own that brand again from Fox, so they could totally do that. Opens the door to lots of characters like Punisher, etc. Daredevil, we'll talk about that in just a moment. But that's a very exciting situation to have a second, probably, hopefully. Would anyone want to see a PG-13 Blade movie? I'd be curious. Share your thoughts down below. But have a second character on officially. Well, Deadpool hasn't been officially announced, but I think we know he's coming. Anyway, yes. Mahershala Ali, of course, already starred in a Marvel property, and that's in the first season of Luke Cage. Only the first half of it, though, and we were all very sorry to see him go. But that means that those actors and shows are definitely on Feige's radar. So again, come on, Daredevil. I mean, I think Mahershala Ali, since he was so short-lived, literally on that season, he didn't really become cemented in fans' minds as a certain character. But I don't think you could recast anybody from Daredevil and have people see them as anything but those characters. So sucks for them just a little bit. You never know. I think Disney Plus, I think, is a good place for that show to maybe be revived once the contract stipulation goes away. But anyway, you know, Netflix has, from cancellation, there's a window where Marvel can't do anything with the properties. But they can do something with the actors. So again, Mahershala Ali. And on that note, I think it's a bit of an FU to Netflix, who just canceled the whole Marvel slate as the Disney-Netflix war heats up, right? Wow, shots fired back. It's also worth noting that Ali is a two-time Oscar winner, with Feige adding now not just one, but 2 Oscar winners to his roster of superheroes, joining Brie Larson. Isn't that amazing? That's how successful the MCU is. Oscar winners feel that it's not going to be looked down upon them with the rest of their careers if they don a cape. That's amazing. But Feige also said he's not only planning, because, like, wait for it, this is very exciting. Well, so Black Panther 2, obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Captain Marvel 2, and again, just 2 years out, you know, at the earliest, but still, that's just 2 years. But also, Fantastic Four Reboot. Wow. John Krasinski and Emily Blunt need to do whatever it takes to seal this deal, to be a Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman. I mean, this will be the 3rd reboot of the property. It'll be interesting to see how Feige differentiates it. I would think maybe going hardcore science, especially because science has been such a big part of the MCU. And of course, somebody's got to fill that Tony Stark-sized hole, and I think Reed Richards is a pretty good choice. I would like to maybe see the property go older, and that's, again, in Krasinski and Blunt's favor. Usually the cast is skewed younger. And then also, will Feige rip off The Incredibles, which is a ripoff of the Fantastic Four? I mean, Brad Bird ain't making Incredibles 3 anytime soon, so I think Disney doesn't really care. They're like, please, we'll just put them together, you know, we'll just, because, you know, with the theme parks and everything, it'll be great. We'll make it work, you know, our live action and animated versions of the same property that everybody loves. again, I think, I mean, they've invested a lot in The Incredibles, but Disney is also investing in theme parks to be able to reskin rides even overnight. So they'll just reskin it again for Fantastic Four. And then finally, mutants. That's what he's going to call it. Mutants. As an X-Men fan, not only do I love the fact that the X-Men are already a part of the conversation, but that again, it's being called mutants and not X-Men because it differentiates from the Fox movies, but also it shows that maybe they're going to take a darker horror tone. They're already going in the horror direction with Doctor Strange, so that kind of like starts to move in that direction so it doesn't seem so different. And also, hey, who's in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness? Scarlet Witch, who of course is of course a mutant in the comics. Although maybe this is where she'll utter no more mutants. Maybe the multiverse will open the door to the mutants in that movie. Maybe they're coming sooner than we think. But anyway, because we've been wondering, and I've brought this up, how can you have the world be okay with the Avengers as superpowered individuals, but hate and fear the X-Men, right? Well, as we've discussed, there can be the horror aspect, right? Like the Avengers are all beautiful Oscar winners. I'm sure there'll be Oscar winners in mutants as well, probably, at this rate. But, the mutants are like, darker and like, they basically, ironically, what Josh Trank tried to do with Fantastic Four. And when I think that movie was at its best. But also I was recently talking to some friends and we came up with this idea that with the Avengers, anyone can have an accident that gives them superpowers or be like Tony Stark and be inventive, or Spider-Man, right? Although again, Spider-Man's both. He was bitten by a radioactive spider and he, built his own tech. But that's something that can happen to anyone. But with mutants, either you're born a mutant or you're not. And we're talking about human evolution. So that could be really what makes society hate and fear mutants. That you couldn't be a mutant, but mutants might very well replace you. I think it's a little bit of a heavy argument. It's a little intricate, but I think it could be made very effectively. So I like it. And also, hey, Feige has had the X-Men for what? A few months? He's already making exciting changes. I love it. So again, Phase 4, just 2 years long. So some of these movies could come out as early as 2022. Which ones would you prioritize? Share your thoughts down below. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. And of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.